Well, the world's still popping in, but I think that's normal. Welcome to the... What is this? The 4th episode? No. No, this is a later episode. As I'm recording this, only 3 episodes plus this episode 0 have been uploaded, I'm pretty sure. But it is in fact like episode 5 or something like that. And it is also the last episode on 1.7 as we are migrating this week. That said, this is also not going to come out in the same week because, well, schedules have changed a bit and I'm gonna need to spend the last week of October catching up with that schedule. Essentially, I was going to do a bunch of recordings last week, but I ended up not being able to really do that because I was heading to a con. Which was cool, but yeah, it's just sort of got in the way of both recording and editing content, and I felt I should probably prioritize main channel content and Jesus Christ, this fucking thing. Okay, that was lovely. Main channel content and the Kickstarter series. It seems to be a good move on my part because that's... There's more? Oh my god. Because there's a tendency for those to be more relevant to growing my channel, and I'm going to be killed by this stupid spider because it's lagging the hell out and refuses to die. I literally can't hit it. I can't hit it, I'm going to die. I'm gonna be poisoned to death. I love mods. Anyway, what a start to a video. You might notice that I sound a bit off today, and that is because I am sick. And you might be already piecing things together that I went to a con and came back sick. Although it wasn't a con itself that's really messed me up, because it's usually not the case that something like a con or an event is going to leave me sick. It is, however, usually the weather that does me in. And boy, did it do me in this time. This was BalticCon in Vilnius, and both days on our way back, I had to go in cosplay through pretty much just a downpour of rain. So, I'm not exactly surprised by the fact that I am definitely quite ill. However, I'll do my best to remain coherent, but if I do get more delirious in my ramblings, then, well, you have your reason there. Speaking of delirium, I was in the last video, I did sort of end on saying that I want to talk about SCPs and Twinoid and all that. But for some reason, I got home from work today, and instead my mind decided that I should talk about Justin Bieber. I can't quite explain it. I can't quite explain why my thought process went there today, but I don't generally question it when it does, and there are things that sort of, if we're talking about internet nostalgia, well, sort of makes sense to bring up old JB, because we do all know that Justin Bieber, for a good time in the late 2000s, early 2010s, well, he was sort of the shorthand on the internet for someone you despise, someone everyone totally hated, and were totally justified in hating somehow, and it was a totally normal thing. And you know, you had I recently checked out old fuck's sake, more of these stupid spiders. Checked out Happy Wheels after a long ass time, and looking at old levels, you're like, oh wow, people really hated this kid, and were even out there making, you know, simultaneously making games where you killed him, and also where if you didn't have a particularly great set of skills yourself, you would be considered a Justin Bieber, and it's like, there was just a lot of vitriol towards this little kid idol musician. And there's a lot of... It's an interesting topic to me, because there are people who will go like, oh yeah, that was such a weird period in time when everyone was sort of going ham on JB. Others will be like, well, at the same time he's kind of an asshole now, isn't he? So it was justified in a way. But, you know, I think it's obviously one of those cases where a part of why he's an asshole now, I would argue, is because of the way he was treated and of the, you know, fame as a whole, which is never a great thing for a child to be dealing with, because, let's be real, he was in fact a child at the time when, you know, he was popping off for the first time. He was just a little YouTube sensation that ended up taking the nation. So, it's quite fascinating is that, yeah, it's easy to like shit talk him, even easier if you just don't care for his music, and then you're like, oh, he's also just kind of a dick, and you're like, okay, so whatever we say about him is justified. But at the same time, if you think about it, this poor kid had to deal with half the world, from his perspective, mind you, half the world adoring him to an unhealthy, almost psychotic degree. What the shit? Where where apparently even if he were to like get cancer, that part of the population would just shave their own heads in his name. And then on the other hand, you had also, where's the... I realize now I didn't check where the portal is, did I? Well... It's definitely up, but oh well. I'll just hang out in this area and eventually run to it, hopefully, because I need to get back into the overworld and store my shit so we can switch versions. Yeah, that was one half of the world, and then from his perspective, the other half of the world hated him to a psychotic degree, and would make these games on the internet where you would beat him to a bloody pulp and murder him, or essentially use him as internet slang shorthand for calling someone the F-slur, you know, at the time. Like, that was probably not great. That would not be great for anyone's psyche, and it's like, oh, but he's rich and it's fine then. It's not really, the case, especially when you have someone that young dealing with it. And the reason JB came to my mind is a certain specific event that happened. I don't quite remember when this was, which year. It was certainly around 2010 to 2012, I want to say. And that event was Justin Bieber heading to the Netherlands, which became a controversy for what he did in the Netherlands. And for those unaware, you're like, ah, shit, what did he do? Who did he fuck? What drugs did he use? And when I set this up, the people unaware of the story will go, wait, what? How did that happen? Is that a controversy? That seems like... That doesn't seem right, because what he did was he went to the Anne Frank Museum. And the controversy at the time was about what he wrote in the guest book afterwards. And I don't want to lie about what exactly he wrote, so I'm going to quickly build myself a little hidey hole. And I'm going to... Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, I'm safe in here. There we go. Perfectly safe. Because what I wanted to check is Justin Bieber guest book quote Anne Frank Museum. I wrote museum with an O. You didn't see me do it, but I wanted to make it clear. What he wrote was, this is after he went through the entire museum, and he left a note in the guest book, which read, truly inspiring to be able to come here. Anne was a great girl. Hopefully she would have been a believer. And he got a lot of flack, and I mean, it's understandable why. It seems very tone deaf and egotistical when you sort of just read it. But there are quite a lot of counter arguments to be made. He was at the time, well, first thing I want to point out is that he was at the time 19. He wasn't a child, but I would still qualify him as being, well, a kid. We like to think of the people like that as adults, and legally they are, but I can say from my own personal experience as someone who has been 19 on the way to my current age, if you can believe that. That is in fact how aging works. That you really do not have a fully developed brain yet. But that's not even really the main excuse I want to make, because my main excuse is that he didn't really do or say anything wrong. The Anne Frank Museum... okay, so here's the thing. The main reason why it seems that people were so up in arms about this quote and found it so disrespectful, and again, understandably so when you read it, is that, you know, the Holocaust, it's the horrible thing, one of the most horrific genocides in human history. And to have this teen pop star write something like that seems horribly disrespectful to people. But the thing is that the Anne Frank Museum is not exactly a Holocaust museum. It is not a museum dedicated to... Which did I press? One? What are those lines? No. I don't know what these lines are. Let's ignore them. It's not exactly a Holocaust museum. It is a museum dedicated to Anne Frank as a person, as a teenager, as a child, as a single victim of this horrible thing. And the point of the experience there isn't to illustrate the atrocities that were committed, to talk about the horrible things that people went through, the number of people that were killed, the brutal methods in which it happened, the callous nature of how the bodies were disposed of. Like, none of that is really the focus. It is the focus of who was Anne Frank as a person, who was this young girl that had to suffer this horrible, horrible fate. And then it gives you a look to the visitor into, well, her life, her inner thoughts. It's all, she's this teenage girl who would have wanted to live a normal teenage girl and later adult life, who had these aspirations and dreams and ideals and crushes and all that into account, like you come out of it and you're not really you're probably overwhelmed with emotions knowing what happens to her. And I think that was probably the case with Justin, who saw this young girl who was, by all accounts, a very normal young girl at the time, who had to suffer a very abnormal and horrible fate. And in that moment, he wrote, he related her to the current time in the way which was closest to him himself, which is, she would have been one of his fans. And here's the thing, he would kind of be probably right for one. I think it's a very safe argument to say, had Anne Frank been around in the 2010s and early 2000s, she would have been a believer. She would have been a One Directioner. She would have been a Swiftie. All of these things. She probably would have been, if we're being totally honest, because, well, she was just a normal teenage girl with normal teenage girl interests. And so, yeah, adjusted for time, that's who she would have been in the current era. By the way, I have no idea where I'm supposed to go anymore. I might need to message Icy Bunny asking if she knows the coordinates of the portal on the other side in this world. But, unfortunate. Unfortunate. Hold on, let's just... I already need to get him out my phone. I exited Discord on the computer. I'm such a professional gamer, you guys. You have no idea. Discord. Should I message? Yo, do you know the chords for the weird portal on the other side? I'm lost. There you go. Hopefully she responds. If not, I mean, we're migrating anyway, so I'm losing a lot of things. The only thing I need to do really is get the coordinates for the castle I took over in order to have it moved to the new world. So, yeah. But yes. But I think genuinely that Justin wasn't doing anything wrong, and in fact he was trying to express in the best way that he could the amount of emotions that visit to the museum had like brought onto him. Oh my fucking god. Die. Brought onto him, and I think it's probably almost the best possible way to come out of that thing is to thinking, well, shit, she was this just regular girl, and it's a shame that something like so horrible happens. Because another thing is that we tend to have this sort of almost sanitized or distant view of historical figures, of people in the past, which I don't think is like warranted. I think understanding that these were just normal human beings. These were normal people in, again, a lot of abnormal circumstances. Like, that matters. You know, Anne Frank wasn't this amazing beacon of, I don't know, like, something sacred, of, like, virtues, of, like, untainted, untouchable, like, anything. She was just a girl. She's a girl who is no different than any like middle school or high school girl now. Like you might be like, oh, look at those girls getting on their TikToks and like making stupid videos on the internet and like acting all weird and cringe, and you're like, sure, but we should be glad to be living in a time when they're allowed to do that, when they are allowed to be cringe and just be themselves, and where they don't have to fear a fate like that. Oh my god, there's so many. Oh no, run. Why are they so fast as well? It's so annoying. Would I have to fear such a horrible fate? And another thing is that there was a great moment in a great rather notion from this panel show that I watched, because I watched a lot of British panel shows, not gonna lie. Big Fat Quiz of the Year, I think it was. I mean, the year of the decade doesn't really matter. Of everything, even, perhaps. It was pretty close to the time when this visit to the Anne Frank Museum by JB happened. You know, they were riffing on it, and then one of the panelists said, well, really, you should be praising the kid because he went to the freaking Netherlands, and he visited a museum.
To be fair, he was about 16 then, and like, I don't know many 16-year-old boys who go to Amsterdam for the weekend and bother going to the Anne Frank house. most of them are off their tits on brownies.
You really are a Jason
I'm a
Bieber
believer.
fan.
We are fans of Jason, and we don't care who knows it.
Like, wow, that is already just amazingly commendable and frankly quite unexpected. Okay, meanwhile, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of considering... I don't really have any wood, because I was considering killing myself and then just having the coordinates that I can go to. It might genuinely not be a terrible idea, which sucks. Like I jumped down there and I should be... Because this isn't... It's not necessarily as dangerous as the nether around here. But yeah, back to JB while I kill myself. Is that... Yeah, there's certainly things to criticize him on, and especially now that he is shown to be not that great of a person, at least anymore. I don't know about before, where you kind of have to look at it and go, ow. Well, a good part of why he turned out like an asshole probably stems from having to deal with this shit. From, you know, situations like the Anne Frank stuff, where this is obviously me putting my own biases into play and, you know, filling the gaps in myself, but just thinking of if I were in his position, if I were this young, promising artist that has all these adoring fans and also all these horrible, horrible haters, and I'm like, okay, I don't really know where I belong in the world right now. There's so much I need to figure out. And you go to this, go to the frickin' Anne Frank Museum. And, oh, I need to go. I'm probably gonna get some armor, at least now. Go to the Anne Frank Museum because you... Not even gonna comment. Also, there's a dog somewhere. What is happening? What has she done? Also, oh. Anna, I don't have wood. I don't have wood here. Oh. Jeez. Oh. Really? No, there's Smile Dog. Is Smile Dog the one barking? Or is there an actual wolf? I genuinely can't tell. Is there a wolf here? Wait, I have the special vision. Night vision. Vampire vision. It's not changing anything. Well, I guess we'll never know. But if I tried and do something genuine and actually... Oh no, there it is. And actually, like... I guess not quite better myself, but at the very least, do something worthwhile, and you have this actual, perhaps genuinely important experience where you have these thoughts about what people were like in the past, and Anne Frank and the horrors of the Holocaust, and you know how lucky we are to live in our times, and you have all these thoughts and you can't really articulate them because you're a stupid 19-year-old pop idol kid, but you try your best and you come up with this thing, and despite the fact that you tried to do, you know, something good. Also, I should have written down the... I'm stupid. I didn't write down the coordinates of where I died anyway. But you try to do something good, and you put your thoughts out there, and then people still shit on you because, well, maybe you did word them very poorly, but again, you're just a stupid teenager, right? at that point, you have these people who will seemingly just hate you no matter what for any reason. They don't actually need a reason. If you asked most people that were shitting on Justin Bieber at the time, they couldn't really articulate why, except for the fact that he was annoying or they didn't like his music. And it's like, fair enough, but I mean, you don't like music that isn't made for you. I don't remember what... I forgot the vampirism button again. I need to check. But music that isn't made for you by an artist that is aiming towards a completely different target demographic than where you belong to, and equals okay. And it's like, oh no, I don't like that music, I find it annoying. Yeah, no shit, it's not made for you. Just listen to something else. Don't... When the moment you start making weird freaking posts about it and like making mods where or flash games where you kill Justin Bieber because you hate him so much, well, that's a you problem, frankly. Okay. I need to go find my depth spots, and I need to change into normal vision. Ah, okay, I understand why I missed it, considering it's very easy to miss. It is. Okay, I screenshotted the coordinates, so it should be fine. But yeah, you have this whole thing, and it's like, fuck it, at that point, what incentive are you even given anymore to not be kind of a dick? If we're being totally honest, I guess a down? No, didn't go that far down, did I? You do go down? Can't tell. I don't know. As usual, I have to finish off my rants by saying, I don't know, I'm not Justin Bieber. I don't know what goes on in his mind. I don't know him personally, what he's like as a human being, or was like as a human being, but I do know that he is, I think it is safe to say that his, like, his growth as a person was severely affected by the fame that he got and by the hate that he got. Neither of those things particularly helped in his personal journey. I really should have written down the coordinates so I could figure out whether I went up or down. I feel like down makes more sense, but I'm gonna make sure by going up first. Does that make sense? No. Ow. Doesn't really matter if I get hurt because I just need to. Well. Ow. No, it doesn't. I had a brief moment of thinking that maybe if I right-clicked it would show me the coordinates. Why would it do that? Silly Billy. Is it up? I guess it's up. So should I just... I'm gonna mine out some materials and then just go up. I do think I'm probably gonna want to talk about SCP stuff when I get to the next version, purely because there's a lot to talk about, because SCP lore is something I've been into for a really long time, and it's also something I'm into still to this day. I'm really into Sarkite lore and Mechanite lore, you know, Flesh Cult and Machine Cult, you know, stuff, and it's like, it's all very cool and nifty and neat, and there's some cosplays that I want to do from that. But I think, yeah, that and the Twinoid talk, and a lot of people have no idea what Twinoid is, obviously, but that's fine, you don't need to. I'll elaborate when I must. But while I'm still on the topic, actually, of cons and cosplays, it is actually quite interesting also to think about my relationship with those. You know, going from my first cons to where I am now, going to not just cons in Latvia, but to cons all around the Baltic. There's my grave. I'm getting my stuff back. Let's go. Because, well, my sister was actually at, I believe, the first Unicon, which is the Latvian version of, like, Comic-Con and everything else. Or quote-unquote Latvian's version of that. It absolutely gets credit for being the first to do that sort of thing in the Baltics. Doing it the best, though? Well, it's, you know, arguable. I'm gonna start putting on my armor. And then grab a bit more stuff, and we're good to go. And I need to go down a lot, and then I know where I need to go pretty much. Okay. Excellent. So much less horrible than the freaking Nether. But yeah, I went to these cons eventually with my sister when I was just starting to get into anime, and I was like, yeah, you know, I'll go check it out, and it was cool, it was fun. I sort of, you know, I just walked around, ultimately. What else are you gonna do when you're just a pasty little kid? I went to the tournaments, open tournaments for fighting games they had, despite the fact that I never played any fighting games at home purely because I didn't even have something to play them on. Our computer sucked, didn't have the games, didn't have any consoles. This was the only time I could play was at the convention, but I still enjoyed it. But in hindsight, it's always weird to think about hindsight, where I'm like, did I enjoy that much? Or did I just, I'll gaslight myself almost into enjoying the experience? Because I mean, cons are fun, but having now done conventions in cosplay with friend groups as opposed to just as a regular, you know, one in the crowd kids, and you know, technically there with my sister, but not really sharing enough interest with my sister outside of the, well, no, well, not really. We definitely shared a lot of interests, but more so connectivity interests would be a good way to describe it instead. Sharing those less, you know, comparing that to actually having a friend group and having the chance to do cosplay, it's like night and day. I enjoyed significantly more. And who made it? Made it home. And it's just strange to think about for how many years I went to the con as a normie. Because the first time I did any kind of cosplay was actually just last year. I went as Ruka from Steins Gate to Unicon. Unicon itself has grown a lot over the years, but it hasn't quite grown and adapted as much as a convention should over time. There's still a lot of issues, especially with Artist Alley stuff, and I'm not gonna get into that really, but I will say I've been enjoying the other Baltic conventions more. J-Zone in Estonia, Comic-Con Baltics in Lithuania, which is where I was last week. Of course, when this video comes out, that's like, you motherfucker! Oh, you bitch. You bitch. You bitch. I just wrote that. Just gonna screenshot this as well. That's... forgot that was going to be noise in the recording as well. Is the dog gone? Better be fucking gone. Oh. It's not gone. It is gone. It's not gone. Just... oh. Like, I ain't got enough shit to deal with. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna go home now. It is a very different experience to go to a con and actually have people come up to you and be like, hey, can I have a photo? Can I have a hug? Can I, oh my god, you look so great. Even if I... Fuck you. Even if I don't quite, always feel that that is accurate, it's still, you know, it's neat, it's fun. I think I'm gonna be cutting the episode here though, because I do need some rest considering I am, in fact, sick. So that's gonna be doing it. Hopefully this video comes out at least at a reasonable point in time. And yeah, make sure to like and subscribe and check the main channel, and I'm gonna die.